Please leave a message after the...
All right, so listen. So people always say, and this is a wide discussion. Like I do want to rein it in a little bit because people always say, beautiful people make the rules. Beautiful people get further in life. There's a lot of statistics. There's a lot of statistics that actually show something different to what we
Donald's
used to know.
staring at me at this moment as well when he's saying this. But there you go. Yeah,
Jody. I'm saying,
Mr. Wonder.
Yeah. So, you know what? And this whole thing about beauty is in the eye of the beholder. There's some statistics that say beautiful people used to earn 15% more in the 90s. Now it's flipped. I don't know what this says about the world, how it is today, where how beauty plays a role. And with things like pornography, where, you know, the most beautiful women supposedly are in a certain industry, there's a kind of a shift on what people used to believe. Then there's things that people say that if you look good, people just treat you better. They think you're taking care of yourself. You know, what is beauty? I mean, sometimes just getting fit, just losing weight is seen as beauty. So it's a big topic. And my thoughts on the power of beauty is that, again, when I think of beautiful, and I'm not talking about that whole eyes of the beholder thing, I think beauty in general is got to do, if I'm talking about a person, by the way, I'm not talking about architecture, that's a bit different. When I'm talking about people, I think it's got a lot more to do with the whole package. The whole package. I think people that are facially ugly but are fit, for example, that are muscular or just well groomed and just dress nice, they can be seen as beautiful in that sense, and especially in today's world. And I do think if you take care of yourself and you're beautiful in that way, I do think you're taken more seriously in life. I do think there is a power to that. That's what I kind of believe. But if we're talking about more superficial, just beauty, then I'll get more into that in a bit. But I just want you guys' initial thoughts on that first.
Right. So let me just recap on the premise here. So, I mean, what's the question in terms of what? Can you get further with beauty? So
The power
of beauty.
I'll make it even simpler.
What's its place in the world
Do you think there
today?
is a power to beauty? Let's just get this out of the way first. Do you think there's a power to be beautiful?
It's definitely
in the conventional and the non-conventional sense.
It's definitely a variable, I would say. It's not the be all and end all.
Well, to you specifically, let's talk about you specifically. Yeah. Do you feel like there's a power in beauty?
Yeah, I mean, it's undoubted that it's used in people's advantage. Yeah, I mean, be it a guy or a girl, you know, depending on where you want to get to.
In your life, have you seen that? Have you seen that power?
Yeah, I mean, I've seen, like, you know, people being treated, you know, far more differently.
Sure.
Be it in a social context, especially work-wise. Obviously, people try and, you know, maintain their professionalism there, but, you know, they could be, they'd have a lot more favorable treatment. But yeah, I mean, it's just evident there. From my experience, I've seen that, you know, be it, you know, from a young age onwards there. I mean, you know, the world treats them differently, and it's undeniable. I mean, it's kind of ingrained in us. I mean, but I mean, I'm hoping that for the future, I don't know, that we're starting to learn how to kind of go against the genetics and always, like, give people, you know, what they want. But from my experience anyways, I've seen that.
Okay. Well, you sound like you're talking about in the conventional sense. This is what I wanted to kind of, I wanted to put them together.
You want to cut through beyond that.
Well, I think it's not the same thing anymore.
Right.
I think people are trying to merge smarts with the you know, superficial and pull it all together. Like, you know, people can say Instagram women are beautiful in general, and, you know, 1.5 million followers, and that is just like your most typical surface level value of beauty. But does that, and I guess those people are far in life because they're rich, because they've got a career in and they're using that. That is kind of a specific genre. But then in the, like I said, in the pornography industry, those people could be considered beautiful. But as me and Raven have spoken about on another podcast altogether, that doesn't necessarily generate wealth at all. And some of those people are some of the most downtrodden on people in a very horrible industry, so to speak. So
I think it varies depending on this is actually quite a tricky question, because I think yes and no.
I'm going to bring this into a 1 point, by the way, so just to make it easier. I'm throwing it a bit general for you guys at first.
I think yes and no. I think yes in what you were saying, I keep mispronouncing your name, Jolene. It's Jolene, isn't it?
Yeah.
Just
you
call
can
him
say-
Joe Blog.
Joel.
You can
Joe
say
Blogs.
Joe,
Joe.
or you can say Jolie,
Jolene.
or Jolene, but with a D at the end.
Jolene.
There you go.
So I was
You
like,
sing the song as well.
I like Joe Blogs.
Jolene.
I'm thinking, Jolene.
See, people
I love
say
that
they're
song, by the
right.
way.
I do actually like that song
you
as
go.
well.
Especially when Hannah Montana sings.
But I just think yes and no in what you were saying in terms of people who are at least superficially beautiful, they are given a lot of advantages because they're superficially beautiful. But on the downside of that, one day they won't have their looks. So if they don't rein in the intelligence and develop themselves as an intellectual or even just as an interesting person, if they're vapid and all they rely on is their beauty and their looks, I can think of a few people, I think they're going to be quite stuck later on in life because sooner or later, you know, as an individual, as you grow older, hopefully you develop as an individual. And if you're not developing as an individual, you're just relying on your looks will fade.
Correct. Yeah, I would say
Yeah.
if you utilized it in the right way, though. I
Yeah.
mean, that's why I say it is a variable. But if you utilized it in the right way, then you'd probably, or hopefully, be in a position in life where you'd be like, well, you know, I've got myself into a place where this is. I mean, you're absolutely right. There are beautiful people. You could say in the porn industry, even a lot of people in the creative arts who can be very beautiful and they're downtrodden. Because they're just obviously used, abused, and the machine just chucks them out, throws them out, and on to the next one there. It's a variable that you can use to your advantage, but it's how you use it is all up to you there.
And I think anyone who's interested in, like I said, personal development, and anyone who's smart, like I'm not talking about academia, I just mean like street smart, business smart.
Yeah.
They would use it to their advantage and maybe in the first instance and then start looking at ways to invest what they've earned and learn to develop themselves.
Well, I hate to use this word weaponize, but this is where technology comes in, because back in the day, you're born how you're born and that's it. But in today's society, we've got cosmetic surgery. We've got things you can do to enhance your looks. You don't have to be the same. You can change look. You can use, you know, the world's vision of beauty to your advantage. If you have money, there's so many ways you can use technology to actually change beauty and weaponize it for yourself. So you're not just a lost cause no matter who you are. So I was born this way. There's a lot of things you can do. Celebrities do it all the time. People use it to their advantage. And those people that use beauty as a weapon, people used to see it as right and wrong.
Right.
But I see more and more people come into this sense that if there's something wrong with you, why don't you fix it? Because we kind of all agree that people say beauty is in the eye of the beholder.
Yeah.
But we agree as a human species on certain things are just beautiful. Like this is going out. Like when we look at cities, when we look at art, some things are seen in a mass number of people. It's just visually beautiful, right?
I just don't think that can be applied to human beings though. Like, I just think that there are many people out there that, for example, that might see Kim Kardashian, who's had God knows how many enhancements. I do not see her as a beautiful person.
You're that's a drop in a
attractive.
bucket, because the majority, if you put yourself in the majority of people do find it to be beautiful, just like Beyonce, who isn't so, you know, genetically enhanced.
Yeah, I just don't find anyone, and that's not because it's Kim Kardashian specifically. I mean, anyone for me who's had enhancements on their bodies, if that's what they want to do, then that's fine. But I don't find them to be particularly attractive, because for me, I'm more about toning, shaping, and working with what you got, rather than, I'd only ever consider surgery personally for me if maybe I had an accident.
Yeah.
And the mental trauma of what can happen, you know, post having an accident, you know, is a bit different. So
Well,
for
that's
medical
my
reasons,
secondary point, because today beauty isn't just seen as the physical anymore, facially physical. I mean, just someone exercising, working out and looking clean, that can be seen as beautiful to people now. This guy come to it, he looks good. He's presenting himself. You know, in a general way, that's a different type of beauty. You're taking care of yourself.
That's a weird concept to me, because I just think that as a human being you should be looking after yourself anyway. So if that's a standard of beauty you're going for, then it says a lot about society's expectations, really, doesn't it?
That's the level that you're on then, because I know a lot of people. I know a lot of people that do not think that way. People are like, I am who I am. All right, I get up, I wear my slacks, or wear my jeans, I wear my shirt, and you know, I'm the don, I'm the shit. I don't have to conform to society's norms of beauty.
Is that why they're
but
not-
then-
is that why
but then if
you
you're-
deem them as not
Shut
beautiful?
up.
Not
But
beautiful.
then
All right.
if
Sorry, finish what you're saying.
then there are various levels. I mean, some people can get up outside of bed and decide not to have a wash and not to comb their hair and just
Yeah.
put on jeans. That's skanky. Like,
No, well, that's
you need
called
to
a,
look
that's
up.
called a hipster.
Gosh, ew.
That's cool now.
Oh, God.
Isn't that beautiful? Isn't Jodie? Isn't hipster
Oh,
beautiful?
hygiene.
Saying that, I kind of look like one. I look like a barista.
You said that,
Trying
not
to-
me. You know,
Trying to make some really bad coffee.
I
but I would say,
was thinking it, but you know,
I would say, actually, you know what? I would say in terms of someone being demonstrably beautiful, like a proper head turner, and someone to the other side of the coin, someone who's demonstrably, like, I hate using the word ugly, but I know ugly, unattractive in that way.
Unattractive,
I think
cool.
I would say 1%. I think they're kind of like, for me, very rare breeds where everyone can recognize that, wow, that person is XYZ. I think most people are
Yeah.
like, I'll probably say 99% of the public are just like, somewhat in the middle, kind of what tickles your fancy. But the rest of it is augmentation, construction, be it in social media, getting in the right light. I mean, like Kim Kardashian's famous for saying, take 300 pictures just so you can get that right one selfie and things like that. I mean, in that way, again, it's about how you're utilizing this beauty. Again, it's a variable there, but I mean, it's in your words, you could say weaponize it, but
well,
It's that-
that's
it's-
what. Yeah,
yeah,
that
it's
brings me to my
utilizing it,
last
right.
point. That there's a whole article I'm looking at. It said beauty is dead. Old way of seeing beauty is dead because now being weird is cool. Being hipster's in. You can't even use beauty in the way we used to see it in that more general term.
I think using the word beauty there is just kind of like it's being fast and loose with the
100%.
definition of that there. I think that I just think beautiful is just like something that is quite undeniable, like that can, catch you off guard. And I'm not saying that everyone has to agree with it, but I think you could possibly say maybe that's not my thing, but I can recognize the beauty in that.
Yeah.
I can see where you're coming from with that there, For me, with using the word beauty, it's a kind of like when you're talking about, only for me, I think if we're talking about physical appearances, I've rarely said that one person's like, wow, that person's really beautiful, whatever.
Do you guys like the word beautiful? Because that's one of wrap this up with, because I don't hear anyone.
Nah.
I've used that with women, but I think it's cheesy. And I do think, I see it more as a negative nowadays, especially with women, because it sounds so overused, overplayed, outdated. People use it with, even when I said that, when I saw this, like so many articles about beauty, there's so many, and everyone's just like, beauty's out, weird is in. That's like the main concept of like this generation. Beauty, everyone looks down on that because they do, like you said with the last story, about just making these AI characters, right?
Right.
And now
Yeah.
we can just probably give a new sense of beauty because now we can use computers to perfectly define whoever the next influencer is going to be that Nike's going to sponsor or whatever.
But that's why I think using the term beauty or beautiful in sort of the same spectrum as in the term that you were just describing, which is beauty is out and weird is in. Something can be both beautiful and weird at the same time. So they don't. So that you can't really.
Yeah,
make
they're not
that.
mutually.
Then they're not mutually
exclusive.
exclusive at all.
People like separating them now, though. To be honest with you, I mean, how do you? I think last story. How do you feel about the word beauty or beautiful?
I love the word beautiful.
Oh, really?
I think the word beautiful distinguishes between pretty and cute.
Yeah.
So if you call a
you think
woman,
it's upper? Is it the higher echelon?
yes,
of those?
definitely.
Okay, it's the highest.
If you turn around and you say, if someone turns around and says to me, "I love you. You are beautiful," or "I think you are beautiful," I'm the shit. Like, I'm platinum. Like that is how I see it. If someone turns around and says to me, "Yeah, you're cute," or "You're pretty," it to me it's kind of like describing like almost like the girl next door girl rather than woman. I think to be beautiful is to be empowered, to be, there's just something very powerful behind that word, and not to just describe it in terms of my look, like, not
Right.
just in terms of that.
Right.
I mean, me as a person,
Right.
that encaptures everything. Pretty and cute.
Yeah.
They are they're nice terms, but they're just like, oh yeah, I like you. I like you.
It's,
You're
it's a
cool.
powerful word that shouldn't be really used that often.
Yeah.
So if I've seen I know you said don't touch on, be it works of art or movies or
Yeah.
things like that. But if you say that,
Yeah.
that was a beautiful movie.
Yeah.
Or that's something that's rarely ever heard. and said. But when you do say it, I mean, it becomes that much more impactful.
It
You know
does.
what? I think you guys have definitely brought it to my attention that I think you guys are. I hear beautiful actually used more in non-human non-human terms rather than, because when I hear it against human, to me it sounds very cheesy. It sounds something that we used to say back in the day and sounds that overused. But when I hear it in the movie, for some reason, it has so much more gravitas. And when people say it's beautiful, I think of real depth.
But that's why I mean, many people might disagree with me. I'm going to bring a film reference into here. Nocturnal Animals to me is a beautiful film, and also Moonlight is a beautiful film, and not just a beautiful film to look at in terms of cinematography and direction, but I mean in terms of like the nuances and the characters and the levels and the depth and just the emotion that it makes you feel when you're watching both of these films. They are beautiful movies. So if someone to me describes me, or if I'm describing someone as beautiful, it's wow. Like, I'm looking at you, I'm talking to you, I'm feeling this, I'm feeling this, I'm feeling this. It's that. The same way you look at...
Layered.
Yes, exactly.
Layered.
Which I think our society in many ways is lacking, because we have fast food. We're in a fast food takeaway society. We have been for a while. You know, anything from the likes of like Tinder to anything else with information now social media.
Yeah, instant gratification.
Exactly. So something being beautiful, you're appreciating it, you're looking at it, you're like, you know.
Yeah.
So yeah, absolutely, I love that word.
You guys have really given me a new appreciation for the word that I really hardly ever use. Funny enough, I realize I use it in a context in such a layered, much more appreciative context than I thought was being used generally. But again, these articles use these words.
Well,
what is beauty? But I think beauty sounds like it's more for the physical human appearance, and beautiful is the more layered. I don't want to get into semantics. I
understand.
I know what you
I understand.
mean.
But with some people who possibly do use that, if they're using it quite, commonly, then it speaks a tad about, how discerning they are of what they consider beauty.
Exactly.
If they keep on throwing it out, I'm always just imagining some sort of like sleazy agent. He's got like some slick back, he's like balding, but he's still got he's balding, but he's got a ponytail, and he goes, "Oh, beautiful, darling." And just uses it, so it's just like, and just kind of like peppers it everywhere, and you're like, "Oh gosh, just fuck off," like that. It speaks a bit about them.
Because I mean, I'm maybe a slightly weird whatever one anyway. I've always been a bit different, as they say. No, I wouldn't say not describe myself as a hipster at all. But for me, a lot of weird, abnormal things are always beautiful anyway. Art, movies, individuals, people, individual as in people. Sorry, I'm just repeating myself.
No, it's fine.
But
you know what, you're going to have the last word, because we're going to move on after this. We've been on for a bit. So
yeah, I think a lot of weird things are beautiful, personally. That's just me.
Again, you guys giving me a new appreciation. Can I say my words for the word beautiful? And let's wrap up there, because I honestly didn't want to bring this up, but I wanted someone out of the way, in a way, because it's a corny topic and it's a different time. People don't see, there's a lot more nuance. There's a lot more in bringing. If I just use the word attractiveness, it would have been a much shorter conversation, to be honest with you. With the power of
you're more the type of guy that probably sings Christina Aguilera's song in front of a mirror.
I've been thinking about Dirty a lot. I've been thinking about Dirty. No, not that song, Dirty.
Did I say, all right, Dirty?
It's
okay.
time for my arrival.
Please leave another message at voiceofmail.com.